Des Moines, Dana, Romney certainly is watching all of this very, very closely, but the follow-up from his speech yesterday, what happened today?
Well, it's really interesting. Well, if you talk to any Romney advisor, and they'll admit the blatantly obvious that Mitt Romney gave that speech about faith yesterday in Texas because he wanted to reassure Republican voters about his Mormon faith. The more candid advisors say it's also because after much deliberation, they decided to do it because he's simply not doing as well as he was here in Iowa. But he was asked about that speech just a short while ago, and he said it had nothing to do with politics.
You know, that's not what the speech was about.
What was it about, sir?
The speech was about faith in America and religious pluralism, the role of faith in America, a need to maintain the religious base of our country, to keep God in the public square, if you will. The speech was not about politics. I don't know how the politics work on it. To tell you the truth,
political season, sir.
Then you got to get together with the political pundits, and they'll tell you how it's going to work. But that's not what the speech was about.
Bit of a surprising answer there, but Romney did go on to say that he hopes the speech touched the hearts of some. Wolf.
He also spoke out, Dana, about the firing of those illegal immigrants who were working on his lawn, the landscaper's story that's developed over the past few days, or at least resurfaced over the last few days. What did he say?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Wolf. This happened 3 days ago. Romney announced that he fired this landscaping company because they had illegal immigrants working at his house in Massachusetts. But today was the first time he's actually spoken out about it. I asked him whether or not he thinks it's a bit of a paradox that he did have to fire this company for having illegal aggressively as somebody who is tough on immigration. He answered by saying, as a homeowner, he would have no way of knowing.
As a homeowner, I'm able to do, that's not something which is available under our current system in this country, and that's why I proposed that instead we have an employment verification system to identify which aliens are here legally, which are not here legally. On that basis, companies that do the hiring would be able to make that assessment. But the individuals at my home were not my employees. They were hired by a company. The company made a mistaken judgment, and that's why I terminated the relationship with them.
If I may follow up, sir, you're running as somebody who is a CEO who is really focused on issues like this, like judgment, not an average everyday citizen. So should people look to you as somebody who would have the judgment or perhaps take the extra mile to make sure that no illegal immigration...
And what's the extra mile?
To make sure, especially...
Tell me how you do that in this country. So, for instance, let's say I go to a restaurant. Should I make sure that all the waiters there are all legal? How would I do that?
Now, of course, Romney did know that this very same landscaping company last year had illegal immigrants working for him, and yet he decided not to fire that company because he says he was reassured. But, you know, privately, Wolf, his advisors understand that fairly or not, this is something that can potentially hurt him, and that has the potential to really hurt him because of the fact, Wolf, that fairly or not, this is a narrative that is continuing with Mitt Romney, that he says something publicly, yet that might not match with what he's doing privately.